Bob Husta is back. I just want to let you know I am quite fatigued today. I did a lot yesterday, and on days after I do a lot, I often have to pay for the energy that I used by having less energy. But I also I've really liked coming back and streaming, so I want to do it. And I've watched some Haley games, and it just kind of psyched me up. I'm ready to play. We'll see how it goes. We're gonna go get a game. We will get a game. And just bear with me if you see any like brain foggedness, like while I'm thinking, because that's kind of what happens when I get fatigued. So we have one win up,
The game is started.
even though technically we may not have should have won that. And this guy has 2,212 wins up. And there are some of them that he shouldn't have won. So I think it evens out. We're going to greet this guy. Nice to meet you. It is nice to meet you, Mr. From 2. And usually with white, I'll play 2/4/4s, also known as the Ni Rensei. But when they do that, I generally like to do this. Okay. Um, let's go ahead and pincer here. Usually you want to pincer this stone because you're developing off of... The 4/4 says I want the center, so then I want to play on the same side as the 4/4. Now, this move is all the rage nowadays, and usually I don't like playing all the rage moves. I also don't usually like playing this move, so I'm going to play this. And when he backs off, I have the choice of playing here or here. This was played a lot recently, and I do like the fights that come with this. And often, this hasn't been played in so long that people will respond to it in a bad way. Although he responded correctly, as far as I know. Then he's going to play here, and I'm going to jump. So this is kind of the Joseki. So a lot of times they will overinvest here and get Gote, and it'll allow me to play here. But even if they don't, this is Joseki. You know, this is kind of a balanced result. I think that professionals don't like it as much. I'm not entirely sure why. It could be because it's overplayed. Could be because it's slightly better for black, so white doesn't like to play it. This is very odd. This is not the normal way to play. There's a couple of ways I can do it. I can play this, which I don't like as much. White wins by resignation. All right. So I don't know why that was. Maybe I was playing too slow. Maybe he just saw my immense strength in the game and just decided I can't play this guy. I can't play this guy. He's just too strong.
The game is started.
And we'll see what this guy... Maybe we'll play a little bit faster this time for the first 5 or 6, 10 moves, however long. Just to stop him from... Okay? Now, I like to generally play things that other people don't play as much because they get positions they're not as comfortable in, and they're interesting positions. Now, he extended on both sides here, which makes the corner actually quite big. So I'm going to hit the corner right now. Usually I'm going to get Sente here. And if he allows me Sente, then I'm going to get to play in here and reduce, which is fine by me. So now, since this is a wall and this is a low stone, I'm going to go ahead and reduce it. Cap is not as good because when he backs off this way, I can't attach. If he Hanes here and I cut and he pulls back, I've got a stone here that I can't ladder, so this stone is going to just die. So I'm going to go ahead and keep him low on this side. And since he's very thick here, it makes me want to play more lightly and not commit to whatever is going on here. I don't want to end up with a heavy group because he's so thick in this area. He's even got an extension stone, which is, looks a little bit weird with this. So that's why this corner hit was so good. And now I've got a couple of options. I don't really want him to take 80th line territory. Like if I come here, he can just cut through, and as I extend, he extends, and he's going to have a lot of territory there, and I'm not going to get a huge amount. So I think what I'm going to do is jump this way, and then just make some shape. And I didn't plan for this, but I do have a lid on my coffee this time. This was actually due to one of my sons just randomly running into my room when I was resting, and I had my coffee cup, and they came in with the lid, and they're like, "You need a lid." So apparently one of my sons is psychic. So since he's playing here, he's kind of wanting to take a lot in this area. So I think what I'm going to do first, before I answer over here, is figure out, is this so severe that if I play a move here, I'm going to regret it when he plays here? Because if that's the truth, then I'm going to want to play this move. I'll tell you what, I'm going to play this because if he plays here, I can play here and start to kind of develop over here. He's got pretty solid territory at that point, but I still have some Aji with attachments here and here to try and figure out if I can do something with this later. So I'm going to play one more time because that will allow me to, if he plays here, be more... he'll be less able to surround me, because if he plays here, I can come out this way and I'm beyond the sector line. And if he plays from this side, I can just jump out. So now he's really got a wall here, and I'm just going to reduce it. And it's possible I should have started here. You see, this, in my opinion, doesn't really do a whole lot. It's going to wipe out this area for me, but I hadn't really committed to this area yet. It was still very open. And if he plays here, the question becomes, do I Hane or do I just extend? Oh, wow. He's like, I want to kill you. Question. If I poke here or poke here, do I die? Because if I don't die, then I can poke, and then just take this stone. This gets really thick, but I've already got a nice group here with a base, and he hasn't really gained too much. Or I can just answer. So if I poke, he pushes, plays here, and cuts. That's where things become really... we can use the word interesting. Because if I try to surround, he's going to get an Atari here, he's going to get this Atari here, and he's going to take all these stones. So I think in this case, well, let's see, if I go this way, and he pushes and cuts, I bump. Actually, I think that's fine. I may be completely and utterly wrong here and die horribly. But if I die horribly, I'm going to die like a samurai. Which generally is actually a horrible death. You know, not the best death. See, these two stones can take care of themselves. So that gives me the ability to just come through here and kind of just ask him what he wants to do. I mean, when it comes down to it, these 2 stones, I mean, he can grab them. There's lots of cutting points here. Is this worth more than this? That's the big question. And if I push out, he's going to get to push these stones kind of across the board and get a wall here. Whereas if he puts a move in, I'll still have some Aji there. Like I'll have a poke here and a poke here if I can get some stones in this area. I don't think these 2 stones are really worth it. And now the question is, do I Hane here? Or... Well, this Hane here starts to build this area really good. I like that. I'm going to do it. I really don't care about these 2 stones. Because, I mean, if he makes thickness here, it does radiate influence this way. But I have attachments, I have this, I have a lot of stuff to be able to reduce. And I already have 2 stones here. And now that I've got a stone here, I mean, I can attach here and attach here, or, you know, I could do something in this area if he doesn't bring another move here. But now that he has, I've got this and this and this and this and all of this, and I can start to kind of mess with this area and separate these 2 groups. So the question is, do I do it this way or this way? And I think I would rather do it this way. Okay. And I'm just, my feeling is to play here. The standard is to cut. But because I'm so strong in this area, I want to play a little bit more. The cut is more about, I'm going to get a nice thick shape in this area, but I already have that. So I'm going to do this, and we're going to, like, see what happens. What are you going to do here, buddy? That's a very strong move. He can... See, he can't really do that because... I mean, I guess he can. I guess he can. But like, I get this. This is Sente. And the reason I want to play this now... Oh, that's not Sente, is it? Oh, dude. Oh, that was gross. Yeah, he's gonna get this. Ugh. Oh, that was a total misread. Why did... I didn't even see this threatens the capture. So maybe this whole thing was overplay. Because now I feel like I've just been completely and absolutely tricked in every way, shape, form. Oh, I just feel hurt. I feel betrayed. You know who is you know, has shown themselves to be on Black's team is Past Bob. Past Bob is a traitor. That's who I feel betrayed by more than anything. So the question is what to do. And I think he's still maybe being a little bit overplayish in this area. So we're going to see. No, maybe not. I mean, he's still got this move to connect up the stones. So he's not doing too badly. But as soon as I get thick here and I play this move, that's going to be pretty nasty for him. I might even be able to do this, because if he comes here and cuts, this move is Sente, and then I'll get like a ladder thing here. If this move is Sente. Because what if he comes in and cuts? Okay, so he's going to connect now. Oh, this whole corner thing, this did not go well. I'll never listen to Past Zach or Past Bob again. But the good thing is now I am present Bob, who will not do things like that. Okay. That being Sente is really good because, like, I can't save this stone, otherwise he can cut. So I'm really feeling good about that exchange. You know, out of the whole thing, that's the only thing I feel good about. But now, like, if he peeps and then tries to cut, I can kind of connect up this way. But he does have this peep here, so gotta be a little careful. Okay, this was an attachment that I had, and now I don't. So the question is, this is my weakest stone, because it's surrounded by black. And the question is, which side is the bigger side? And this is the area that black can develop. Over here, I've got this push, so it's not as developable. So I'm going to play here. And I do think that black is ahead right now, because I don't really have any points. I've got this corner. He's got this corner. He's got something over here that he can do. And I might want to get this peep in over here just to make sure that I have access to this area. Okay, so he's going to take that. That's an interesting way to play the position, because he's got a way to play under on this side, which is the side that I would want to block to. And so it's really weird to answer that. The other thing I'm thinking, if I do something like this and double Hane, he gets a Panuki over here and gets another move here, which actually attacks these stones, so I'd probably want to play here. And this area becomes very large very quickly. So I think what I'm going to do
Overtime countdown has begun.
is I'm going to try for Sente by playing this Knight's move. And he can take Sente, but it becomes kind of... Okay, so now I do have Sente, and I can play here. Now he can come in this way, but I will get some points over here. And if he plays here, I can play here. I forget how to keep him out of the center when he plays here. because this is really vulgar. It just becomes a Hane at the head of 2 stones. So I think I play this and he plays that. And that is really weird. Because when he connects here, this is a pretty big fight.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
But I think what I do is this. I don't quite understand what he's doing here. Because he can cut here. But this kind of hits his shape point. So I'm not entirely sure how this helps him, because these 2 stones are actually really weak, and I'm going to reduce this entire area and maybe even develop something of my own. And this push looks kind of Sente. Okay, this connection is definitely Sente, but now I'm very thick here, and these 2 stones are really weak. Okay, let's get this peep in. Just gonna, you know, make sure of some stuff. Now this peep ensures that I have something like this. So like if I hit here and then I push here, the Aji is really terrible. I can capture these 2 stones. So he plays here, and there's a couple of things I can do. I can jump here to be safe. That's if I knew I was ahead. I've got some territory here. He's got some territory here. I've got some stuff here. If I play here, I think that's the biggest
9,
move.
8.
But it really
7,
depends on whether this
6,
is urgent.
5.
I'm just going to play here, though. I think I'm confident in this fight. But now that he's played here, I mean, there's a couple of things I can do here. I can just play this. You know, it starts to talk about developing this area. I could push here. I don't think that's very big yet. So what I'm going to do, this kind of makes this stronger and also looks at stuff in this area. This is weird. Okay. I'm not entirely sure what that was all about. Since these stones have some weakness to them, I think I'm just going to expand my area while taking care of this Aji. And now I don't know what this was. This, you know, I might have could have answered it this way, because if he descends I can come up, and then when he comes this way then I can extend. Because now if I play here he's just going to ignore it. But there is the possibility of him extending and this cut point opening up a little bit. Yeah, I don't entirely see it, but, and I'm not sure what this does. Because it's not really a probe, I know which way I want to answer. I'm not going to answer this way, and I'm not going to answer this way. And now, like, if he does this, then I could just play here, and I'm threatening to take these stones, so he loses Sente. But because if he connects here, I can connect here. So it's not extremely a big deal. So let's reduce this area. And this Hane opens up a lot of Aji in this area. I've got a little bit of Aji here. I've got a little bit of Aji here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to push here when it drops
9,
down
8,
and get myself
7,
another 30 seconds.
6, 5, 4, 3.
I'm looking at attachments here. I'm looking at clamping here, cutting here, cutting here. Just seeing, out of the two cuts, I definitely want this one more. Because then when he connects, I have better Aji. If I do this and he Ataris and I Atari and he does this, there's less Aji in this area. He's kind of taken
9,
off this place.
8, 7, 6.
I could
5,
also clamp, but I don't see
4.
where that goes. So I'm going to do this. And now I don't know if I want to push here or peep here. If I push, I force him to do this. Because if I push and he plays here and I play here and he Ataris, I get an Atari here and he can't connect. So first we'll see what he wants to do with this. Because I definitely don't want to cut here. Okay, so he's going to let me under. Since he's letting me under, I don't really want to do a lot with this area. He just became more solid. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reduce. I don't see this area as being very big anymore. I have this. I have this. And so I'm going to connect here because it's Sente. And this cut saves a lot of shape points. So I'm just going to take that. And I think I'm winning all of this. I had a really big disaster here, but I feel like I've outplayed him since then. That's not Sente, so that's not a very... I mean, it's an okay move, but it doesn't do a whole lot. This feels slow, so I'm not going to play it. Instead, I'm going to look to possibly come into this area. Okay, so he's taking care of that. But you notice, I mean, this swath of points is not very big. He's invested a lot of stones to make all those points. And question is, do I want to do something like this?
9,
or do I just want to
8,
reduce the area?
7, 6.
I don't see the area as being extremely big, so I'm just going to play this. And let's take this first. Because when I connect underneath, he can play here, and then that isn't a point anymore. This is pretty big. This was nice. I like that. I could still maybe play something like this. This stone can escape-ish, I think. But it's not very big, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so I still get this cut. He could play here, but I can still connect underneath. And if he tries to play here, then I can play this. Now, he might try this, though, which does affect the corner. So if you just heard a weird sound that, you know, sounded like a mouse nibbling, I guess, it was me scratching my bearded neck.
9, 8.
I'm going to go here. So he can get that stone, but I think I'm going to get these 2 stones. Well, we can make some kind of ko. Oh, he doesn't care about the ko. He says, I don't care about the ko. Yeah, oh, he does care about the ko. He likes the ko. So, question. Here. That's a nice little ko threat. We can connect under, so the ko is not worth like a super huge ton. This stone's not very big, but I can Hane here and look to possibly disconnect these stones. So that's something. Yeah, I figured he would answer that. And if he connects here, it does expand the area, but it's not as big as the ko because I have a monkey jump. That's pretty big. So we will answer. And we're answering in a way that doesn't give him more ko threats. So usually you might want to do this, but this gives him 2 extra ko threats. So not going to do that. So he's going to extend here.
Overtime countdown has begun.
And I think we'll get 1 more ko threat with the push because this Hane is really painful. And it even like Hane, and he finds a way to answer without killing himself like this, right? He pulls back, and then I can Hane this way.
9.
And it's really
8,
not very
7,
fun for him.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. 2 overtimes left.
He is deciding what he wants to do. And I just want to tell you, if you hear a little bit of quietness in the background, that's my
9,
boys coming in, and they are
8,
being very quiet, and I
7,
do appreciate
6,
that.
5,
I told them to go outside
4,
because they were being
3,
super loud.
2,
And then I
1,
cast this game, and they
0.
came in, and Mommy told them, hey, Daddy's casting a game, and they have been quiet as mice. So he's going to play here. He's like, the ko means nothing. So I'm going to take that ko. I like it. I like the ko. He doesn't like the ko. I do. And I still get this push because he can't block. Okay, so he's going to play there. I'm going to figure out what kind of monkey jump goes on here, whether it's this one or this one. If he plays here and I play back and he Hane here, I do have this and this to link up. That does not work. Oh, it does work. Oh. No, it totally doesn't. I don't know what you're trying here, buddy. That was massively fail. If I played here, I'll show you that. Oh, that was really loud in my ears. So hopefully it wasn't too loud. Let me see. I had a nice game with you. Thank you for playing. Are you going to leave? I don't want to start reviewing yet. Well, if he's staying around, he can watch the review. So let me see. Here, I like to play this because a lot of times, if they play here, you can cap immediately, and it looks kind of weird. Like, why did you play this extra move? And so I like to play things that are already good, but not as studied at whatever rank I'm playing at, because first of all, I don't go out and study these things and go, oh, here's the traps and here's what I can play. I just don't want to play a game where my opponent knows this set of 35 different moves that he can do in a row and just, this is the way you play the opening. I want to figure it out. I want them to figure it out. And so he played this, which leads to this. And there were other options. I could have played here first. I could have done other things. But I decided, since he played 2 extensions, I was going to take the corner. And I wanted to play lightly here, which is what I did. But as soon as he gets here, I've got enough strength in this area, and plus I'm almost out, where I really don't feel like this. I mean, it might be a good idea to play one more move here. But then, if he plays here, I don't really know what I'm getting. It feels like he gets this big corner, and all I did was reduce his thickness and get 7 points. And I guess, I can play something like this, but then, he can even attack this stone. So I start to develop this area, but I'm not really getting any points yet, and he's got solid points over here, plus an attack. So it's going to be really hard for me to build up anything over here. Or he could just decide, I'm just going to split this area and make it small. So I decided it was time to Tanuki and reduce. I decided this group was strong enough, and he said, I am going to kill you. And this was really interesting here.
A scooter just smashed the toys on the door on my free fingers.
Oh no. How are you being quiet with that? I'm sorry, buddy. Go ask Mommy for the ice owl, and you put it on your finger, it'll make it feel better. Oh my goodness. My kids, they're trying so hard to be obedient that my son just came up to me and he was whispering, Scooter just slammed my finger in the door. And I'm like, wow. He's 4 years old, and if I were 4 and somebody slammed my finger in the door, I would forget anything that anybody ever told me. In fact, even like today, somebody hits my finger in the door, I forget everything. Wow, I can't believe he was so quiet like that. Anyway, I got good kids. I love my kids. So this was a weird fight, in my opinion. Because, I mean, he can take this stone, so I have to, play against this. And there's a couple of things. I just didn't really like how weak this group looked. And I did like how strong this looked. And so I didn't really mind giving up these 2 stones, because I get this group out and make a thick area where he had a thick area. And maybe he said, well, my thickness was facing these stones, but he did have invasion points here that now it's going to be hard for him to take advantage of. So I really didn't mind this exchange. However, this went terabad. I think this cut was bad. I think instead of the cut, I should play here and just allow him the corner, but his area's wrecked. And if he plays something like this, then I really do not mind coming out this way, because these stones are weak enough where this will be fine. I think I like this way better. I'm trying to read here to figure out, because he's got this Hane, but it doesn't extremely go anywhere, but it is a lot of Aji. I don't really feel like I have enough time to defend it, though, because I don't like this move. So I'm trying to figure out, how do I play here so that these moves don't come into play? And maybe... well, what if I push one more and then defend? Okay, that works. Because now I've got this. And I can just connect up. And if he cuts, then I cut. and we have this nice little exchange. And I might not even need to cut there, and I might just be able to extend and live back here, because actually if he cuts, I can just play something like this, because I don't have to do anything until he's proven that he's alive. And when I get a move like this, I'm attacking both groups. So then when I pull back here, I've got this push out this way, and he's got to connect, and then... But, you know, I've got a lot of Aji too. I just don't have to deal with it until he has proven that he's alive over here. Because I can lose whatever I want in this area if this dies. So he can, like, attach here. And now he's pretty much alive, so I'm not going to answer this. Instead, I'm going to pull back here. And then he has to answer back here. He could try to cut, but I don't really feel like he has enough time to start a fight in this area. And once he's done this and answered, I can push out this way. And he can't pull out, because as I'm pushing these stones, I'm getting this. So this would have been the way to play it. And none of that's forced. It was more of like a, you know, here's what could possibly happen. It looks very natural. And so there may be some places where people could play unnatural moves to prevent this from happening. But this looks really good. Like, you know, let's say he connects here. I would love this, because now I just get to come out, and this is a corner, but this is really weak, and this, you know, I just wrecked his whole area and weakened his stones, so that I've got to follow up here. He's probably going to play like this, or this clamp, and that just gives me, I just wrecked his whole area in Sente, and I can ignore this, play maybe something like this, and then I still feel like this area is bigger, because in this area I have this push and I have this. You know, I can make this peep. You know, now might be the time to do this peep. Then do this. That way I'm getting into this area. I've got this push. There are just so many different ways to reduce this area. It just never looks like it's going to grow very large. And I didn't entirely wreck my life over here. I was very unhappy with what I did here. And it's not so much the cut. So here, I just have to answer. This is my only way to answer. And so we can see how this is going to go. He has to play here, and then he gets this move, and I have to play here, and it doesn't feel like I have enough liberties against this corner. So that's not the way to play. Another way to play is this immediately, because if he answers, now he can't. No, he can. He can still do that thing. Ah, here we go. We squeeze, and then we can play down. And now this corner is in a little bit of trouble. Let's see. He plays that. Question is he alive? And the other question that is a related question to the first question is, do I have enough liberties to make sure that he stays dead? So like if I play here, he plays that Hane, I connect. He looks pretty alive here, because I don't have enough liberties. Now push, connect, and it feels like black has more liberties. Maybe not, though. If I play something like this, This is... Oh, yeah, dead. Completely dead. So here, black answers, and now he's doing fine. Because if I connect here, he's got this to start like making like things here. He's got... I've only got 5 liberties, and he's got a lot of space in the corner. He's going to have to attach here or here, so he doesn't have as much space as it looks like. Because the problem is, you know, let's say if he decides to Tanuki, and he says, well, you know, there's no problem here. I get an eye in the corner, and I can actually approach him from the inside. And that's really bad. He can never approach me, and, you know, that makes him have only 5 liberties versus this potential 5 liberties. But I might be able to get some more liberties here. So he does have some problems in the corner. Anyway, the cut was just not good. So let's go to the original. And this was... Oh, I hurt myself. But I don't think he should have played this way. Like, why not? I mean, he could have just destroyed me. This Hane. What do I do now? What do I do? Because if I extend, he extends. And now maybe I can make life here. And maybe I have a cut here later. But it just doesn't look great for me. Just doesn't look great. And he can even... I mean, not now he Hanes maybe. Because he's kind of got like a Mii. He can link up this way or he can link up this way. And I just don't really like what's going on here. I feel like Past Bob decided to hurt himself. And then Past Tikaka decided, no, I won't let you hurt yourself. So this went, and I think this was slow. Because what if he decides to... Oops, not that. What if he decides to approach now? And I play here. He ends up with this, and, you know, like, let's say I have to defend my group. Now he gets this. And he can jump. And this area is looking really big. And if I try to come in, now he can just expand his area. And it looks really, really nice. So this was really slow. I mean, if he plays here and I do this, now it's actually Gote for me. I have to do something like this. Maybe this was what he didn't like. Because he still can't wedge here. My wife made Rice Krispie treats, guys. Don't you want my life? That's why you're watching this. You're living vicariously through Bob. I mean, I know that's really the draw here. So this was interesting. I thought it was a really nice move because it makes it awkward for me. But here, I don't usually like when people do this kind of thing because it makes white really thick on the outside. You know, something like this. And now I don't have to answer this connection anymore because I've got so much thickness here that I can even descend against the clamp. It's just, I do have a lot, so I can Hane here, and when he connects, I can descend here. But in this case, I think what black can do, well, maybe I don't like this so much. Maybe I don't like this so much for black. Because I still get that. And I will tell you something about this particular formation here. Um, like, let's say that white gets Sente again. This Hane and Connect is almost Sente because there's a really nasty Ko in the corner. Like, let's say, somehow white gets Sente again, right? I don't know. These aren't great moves by black. This is actually very terrible. But this, descend, and then there's a nice Ko here because this is Atari. Now we have to win the Ko twice in a way because when black does his deal here, we still have to make another move to Atari. But the first Ko is so heavy for black. These 4 stones get killed if he doesn't connect. That really, we only need 1 Ko threat on the first Ko because he's gonna connect like 8 out of 10 times. And then if he decides he doesn't want to play the Ko, then this connect under is just really nice. It's just really good. It's partially end game, and it's partially a middle game because it does weaken this group enough that white might be able to get a stone over here in Sente, and there is the potential to kill the group if he doesn't have a stone here already. If this group gets surrounded and the clamp comes, it's a Ko for life. So watch out for this shape where there's lack of liberties plus a clamp in the corner and you can do a Ko. So original. So this was good here, I think. But I did get Sente to play back here, and now I don't like what he did here.
You have a game request.
But it was very complicated. There were a lot of ways I could have gone wrong. It becomes very weird. So he pulls back, but the problem is I just have the better shape. Because if he cuts here, then I can just push. And he doesn't have enough liberties. And even if he does something like this, I can just Hane. And, I've got the double Atari, so he's got to extend first. And as I push, this becomes not so bad. So he connects, I connect. I could even leave this, but then he gets this. I couldn't leave that. Never mind. That's Sente. And now we're good. I think we have more points now. Let's see what the estimator thinks. White wins by 10 without the 6.5. So I'm winning by about 16.5 points. And yeah, I'm just kind of getting Yose everywhere. Like I'm winning by more and more as I get all of these reductions. And he does get some points here, which is, not too bad for him. And this was just to give myself some more possibilities, like a peep here. Like especially once I play here, this peep becomes a little bit harder to answer. Because if he tries to play here, then I can kind of start to think about cutting off this group and forcing moves over here. And so this was just to be solid so that I could then come into this area. And that was a good move. I like that. And this was pretty big Ko for him. I feel like it's lighter for me than it is for him. So I get the Ko, and this is where he resigned. He's like, oh man, because now I'm winning by like 40. No, white does not win by just 9 points. No, come on. You said white wins by 10 before all of that fantastic Yose. That's just ridiculous. But it looks like it's estimating things pretty well. So I don't know. Maybe I played terrible Yose. Maybe my my purported brilliance was not as brilliant as I thought. I really feel like I just Yosa'd him to death. But the estimator, now that things are, settled, actually has me winning by less. So, I don't know. Maybe I lost some points in here. Or, I don't know. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the game. I very much enjoyed it. I actually feel more energized now that I've done this than I did when I, got up to do it. So, thank you very much for watching. And, it says I'm dropping frames again. I don't know why it would say I'm dropping frames all the time because